In this video, I want to make an argument for something that's very near and dear to my heart, which is the personal affirmation. Now, you might be rolling your eyes right now. You might think that personal affirmations are a little magical or a little woo-woo, and they always sound like they're kind of not really rooted in reality. But I want to make an argument for why they not only are rooted in reality, but actually we use the principles that we use that make personal affirmations work in our day-to-day lives all the time. We take them for granted, and it's pretty basic neuroscience, okay? So I want to start this conversation by talking about practice. When you're practicing, let's say that you're learning the guitar. Well, at first, you might learn your C chord, and you're going to have to think about where each finger goes and very consciously put each finger on each string where it goes. And it's going to be complicated to do because we probably don't have the neural network that's going to let us do that, right? But as we practice, and you'll have noticed this in times when you've practiced in your life, as we practice, it gets easier and easier, and it almost feels like the clumsiness is being like shrugged off, right? So what's happening there? Well, we're practicing neural networks, and as we're firing those neurons together, they're wiring together. And so they become more and more well-refined until ultimately we can just snap to a C chord and it's easy to do, and there's no problem. And so when you're thinking of doing personal affirmations, that's the process that you're going through. You're actually building stronger neural networks. And so what you're doing is you're working on language patterns that are happening in your brain. This does two things. One, it makes it easier to reach for those language patterns in the first place. And two, it makes you less likely to reach for the old negative language patterns that are happening. So why is this important? Well, one of my favorite metaphors for the brain is that it's a filter. So as we look around the world, our brain is actually filtering what we're looking for. There's a lot of neuroscience to support this. We know about some pretty specific cognitive biases, for instance, that cause us to overlook certain data in our environment, like the confirmation bias or the attention bias. The confirmation bias basically says that we'll look for things that confirm our beliefs, and our attention bias says that we'll look for things that we're paying attention to. That's the principle that, like, when you get a new car, you start to notice that car everywhere. And so what's happening is the reason that we're using the affirmations to build a neural network is so that we can build in a filter for what we're seeing in our environment. Because in a very real way, you're going to find what you're saying to yourself that you're going to find. Okay? And you can do an easy experiment on this. You can look around the room and see everything that's red in your environment right now. Right? Okay, now close your eyes and think of everything that was brown. Now, if you're like most people, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to come up with that thing. People that have an eidetic memory might be blessed with the ability to do that. But for most people, it's going to be really hard to come up with a color that wasn't the one that they were looking for. And that is this basic neuroscience at work. Okay, so when we're building a positive personal affirmation, what we're doing is we're building a filter for our brains to use when we're looking at the world. So let me give you a quick example. When I damaged my brain and lost my social skills back in the day, I had to redevelop them. And so I was going out and I was practicing my social skills. And as I would do that, I had a personal mantra that I loved, an affirmation that I used every day. I used it all the time. I must have said it hundreds of thousands of times. And it was this: I am calm, confident, funny, relaxed, energetic, entertaining, interesting, and able. I'm calm, confident, funny, relaxed, energetic, entertaining, interesting, and able. And I just rattled it off, right? So what was I doing while I was saying that? Well, I was building a neural network that was more likely to say to myself, I'm calm, I'm confident, I'm funny, I'm relaxed, I'm energetic, I'm entertaining, I'm interesting and able. And B, was less likely to give myself that negative filter that says, oh, I'm a loser, or there's a lot of bullshit that I would say in my brain back in those days. And so I was really trying to overcome those things. So two things are happening. One is I'm more likely to reach for the thought that I'm calm than for the thought that I'm a piece of shit, right? Which is great, because then I'm just practicing that saying in my brain, and I'm less likely to look for reasons that I'm a piece of shit. And second, as you practice the affirmations, what starts to happen is your brain is actually like processing, it's filtering the world as you're doing it, right? So what happens is you're starting to notice as you're practicing the affirmation when it's true that you are calm, when it's true that you're confident, when it's true that you're funny, relaxed, energetic, entertaining, and interesting and able. And what happens is, as you start to notice those times, it becomes more and more true. So you build this positive spiral in your life that all is rooted in just the deliberate practice of saying these positive affirmations over and over again and building that neural network. So again, just to reiterate, What we're doing is very practical. It's like going to the gym. It works when you work out. You can't just understand the concept of it. You actually have to practice it. 2, it works because we're doing 2 things. One, we're not reaching for the old thoughts that are harmful to us, and we are reaching for positive thoughts. We're more likely to reach for those because it's just a habit, right? It's something that we're ready to do. And 3, we're actually starting to prove to ourselves that it's true, because as we're noticing, as we're saying that thing in our head, we're filtering for the experience that makes that true. And so we're becoming more and more convinced that we are calm, confident, funny, relaxed, energetic, entertaining, interesting, enable, or whatever. Now, a quick caveat is you do want to make sure that as you choose your personal mantras that you are picking something that you can believe. So you don't want to go from I'm an ugly person to I'm a beautiful person, because you won't believe that, and you'll just kind of you'll deny it to yourself, and you won't practice, and it won't feel very real. So what you want to do is pick a thought that is actually meaningful to you that you can believe. So and you can build in stages. So for instance, you might go from I'm an ugly person, which you're not ugly. You're beautiful. Everybody has a beautiful heart. Be you. Nobody's you like you are you. Anyway. But you might move from I'm ugly to I am a person, right? I have a body. I have a body. Or you might say, because there might be something about you that you do like, right? I really like the way that I look in my eyes. I really like my eyes. I really like my teeth. I really like whatever the thing is that makes sense to you. I really like the way that I smell. I really like that, something that is meaningful to you, that is true, and then you can start to build that up. It also helps to use abstract concepts. Like you could notice in the affirmation that I gave, calm, confident, funny, relaxed, each one of those is like a quality of being. And so there are going to naturally be times in my life when I actually am confident and I actually am funny and I notice all those things. So it's easier for me to find the times when it's true and then build the positive spiral. So as you choose your affirmations, pick something that lands with you even a little bit and practice it and notice how much more it lands. And then pretty soon you'll be able to jump ahead to better and better affirmations for yourself. Okay? So I hope that I've been able to make this clear, how you can use affirmations to make a positive impact on your neuropsychology, because it really is just a practice. It's just like going to the gym. It's just like learning the guitar. Practicing saying positive things for yourself will help you to practice seeing those positive things in your reality. Thanks for listening.
Is there a shift you'd like to make in your life? Grab a copy of my free guide, 7 Radical Shifts to Unleash Your Personal Power. It's in the description below. It's packed full of tips, techniques, and strategies that you can use to help manage your mind and experience more clarity, connection, and freedom in your life. Thanks for listening, and remember, live each day deliberately.